during that news conference the other day where she was talking about the pay us what you owe us shirt and the highly productive, I don't know if the meeting was in secret or what, but they wanted to make this statement. I think it was a terrible PR decision. Judging by the response on social media, it was a PR disaster.
Sparks guard Kelsey Plum ignited the basketball world with a barely concealed shot at Caitlin Clark. Colin Cowherd, a prominent figure in sports media, intervened with a scathing criticism that drove social media into a frenzy just when the buzz couldn't grow much louder. Why is it even more outrageous? All of this occurred at the 2025 WNBA All-Star Weekend, which was supposed to highlight unity but instead showed how much tension and hidden animosity still exist.
Here are the rules for tonight's WNBA Star 3-point contest.
The goal of the 2025 WNBA All-Star Game was to feature the best players in the league, giving women like Caitlin Clark, Sabrina Ionescu, and Kelsey Plum a chance to shine. However, everyone was shocked by what transpired next. Players wore jerseys with the words, "Pay us what you owe us," emblazoned on them as they took the floor during warm-ups. Demanding how Clark ended Kelsey Plum's career bigger compensation amid ongoing collective bargaining negotiations was an obvious push against WNBA leadership. It appeared to be a potent demonstration of solidarity at first impression. The message was really obvious. Players demanded significant change because they were dissatisfied with their poor compensation. However, there was more to the tale. Not everyone was on the same page behind the scenes. At that point, Kelsey Plum took center stage and made an unexpected shot. When asked about the shirt protest during a post-game press conference while seated next to Sabrina Ionescu, Plum didn't hold back. In a meeting this morning, this united front was decided. None of the Clark team members were very present when Plum spoke, but her tone was full of meaning and not a tattletale. Oh no. And that's where the situation got out of control. Plum's comment was not casual. It was a direct shot at Caitlin Clark and her elite comrades, implying that they weren't dedicated enough to even support the cause.
0 members of Team Clark were very present for that.
That really needed to be mentioned.
I'm trying to make a situation light, okay? But yeah, no, I think it was just all of us getting on the same page for the game. We wanted to do something that was just united and collective. It was a very powerful moment and got
the goal of the 2025 WNBA All-Star Game was to feature the best players in the league, giving women like Caitlin Clark, Sabrina Ionescu, and Kelsey Plum a chance to shine. However, everyone was shocked by what transpired next. Players wore jerseys with the words, "Pay us what you owe us," emblazoned on them as they took the floor during warm-ups. Demanding how Clark ended Kelsey Plum's career bigger compensation amid ongoing collective bargaining negotiations was an obvious push against WNBA leadership. It appeared to be a potent demonstration of solidarity at first impression. The message was really obvious. Players demanded significant change because they were dissatisfied with their poor compensation. However, there was more to the tale. Not everyone was on the same page behind the scenes. At that point, Kelsey Plum took center stage and made an unexpected shot. When asked about the shirt protest during a post-game press conference while seated next to Sabrina Ionescu, Plum didn't hold back. In a meeting this morning, this united front was decided. None of the Clark team members were very present when Plum spoke, but her tone was full of meaning and not a tattletale. Oh no. And that's where the situation got out of control. Plum's comment was not casual. It was a direct shot at Caitlin Clark and her elite comrades, implying that they weren't dedicated enough to even support the cause.
Kelsey Plum come out and said, "Hey, Caitlin Clark, Team Clark wasn't present for the meeting about the shirts." And she knew exactly, she knew exactly what she was doing. I've seen people try to explain this away. She knew exactly what she was doing. She knew she was being shitty, and she was. That's what she was doing. She knows Caitlin Clark's got a ton of fans that support her, and she purposely gave her a double middle finger. I mean, that's what she did. And to the fans.
Sitting next to Plum, Sabrina Ionescu, who was on Team Clark for the All-Star Game, appeared totally taken by surprise. With an uncomfortable chuckle, she attempted to defuse the situation before adding, "That probably didn't need to be said." There was no denying the discomfort. There's a reason why you could sense it through the screen. Ionescu's response went beyond simply making amends. It was an obvious evidence that Plum had gone too far. Social media took up almost immediately. Plum was attacked by both fans and experts for undermining the togetherness that the protest shirts were meant to symbolize. Fans react to the brutal finish. However, the consequences didn't end there. The dispute swiftly left the arena and took on a life of its own. The target of Plum's remark is what made it particularly hurtful. Many people consider Caitlin Clark to be the WNBA's golden goose. She has been a real game-changer since joining the league in 2024, setting viewing records, drawing in new supporters, and making money that has improved the league as a whole. Clark's star power is responsible for sold-out venues, charter flights, and a significant increase in visibility. Why would a seasoned all-star like Plum challenge the player who is undoubtedly contributing the most to the WNBA's advancement? That's the question that keeps people debating. Some people think it was jealousy, residual annoyance, or just a poorly timed attempt at humor that went horribly wrong.
Oh, the investors are like, well, and they went and bought a company that increased, and I think it was a smart buy. It still doesn't make money. It's all timing. And so the timing's great. If they'd have been negotiating this deal an hour before Caitlin Clark was drafted, it'd be a totally different.
Coward's comparison struck a deep chord and effectively captured how Caitlin Clark's presence has elevated the WNBA's prominence. He wasn't done, though. He continued by criticizing Plum's lack of self-awareness, claiming that criticizing the league's most popular player wasn't only petty but also detrimental to the player's fight for greater compensation. Coward stated, "It's time to grow up and fast," emphasizing that the WNBA is finally getting close to profitability, partly because of the momentum Clark has generated. Colin Coward is more than just a prominent figure in the sports media. Whether you like him or not, he has a huge following and frequently influences how controversies are perceived. Furthermore, this drama was genuine rather than staged. With decades of experience, Coward is known for bringing hard realities to light and cutting through the clutter. He didn't take sides in his defense of Caitlin Clark. It was about looking at the wider picture. For a long time, the WNBA has been losing money. However, interest, sponsorships, and income have all increased since Clark joined the league. Coward's message was straightforward. Attacking the guy who is driving that expansion is naive and runs the danger of undermining the movement that Plum purports to support.
University professor in finance looked up the value of Caitlin Clark for the WNBA. This is insane. So this year, last season in the WNBA, Caitlin Clark was 26.5% of all economic activity.
Colin Coward's influence extended beyond his program. His tirade instantly went viral on social media, receiving thousands of likes, shares, and replies. Colin Coward says what everyone is thinking, an admirer commented. Before she ruins herself, Kelsey Plum needs to examine herself. The similar sentiment was expressed by another. Why pursue the golden goose? The message was clear. Coward's criticism was the wake-up call Plum deserved, and many fans thought her comment was a cheap shot. However, things take a different path at this point. Not everyone was in agreement. The scenario only became more chaotic as some speakers retaliated. Ramona Shelburne of ESPN provided more background, speculating that Plum's remark was intended as a joke that just didn't catch on. She mentioned that after a late-night player outing that had been documented on social media, the T-shirt meeting was held on Saturday at 8:30 a.m. She claimed that it wasn't shocking that few members of Team Clark turned up, suggesting that Plum's comment was more of a poorly timed half-awake attempt at humor than something malevolent. Even if the remark was lighthearted, it came across as tone-deaf, particularly at a stressful time when the WNBA was attempting to project unity.
Oh no, I'm just playing hard. We want to blow them out. We're a lot better than them. I hate to say it. We got Studbud, Team Studbud, you know what I'm saying? So we're just having fun with it.
Plum's admirers maintain that this is being exaggerated, citing her reputation for lighthearted banter and asserting that she never intended to start a controversy. Later, she even made an effort to patch things up by sharing a post about All-Star Weekend on Instagram, to which Clark herself responded in jest, thanking her for the Nike advertisement. However, this is what a lot of people missed. Plum's comment was more than just a jab at Clark. The WNBA's reputation for unity was shattered. The goal of the shirt protest was to demonstrate complete unity. However, Plum's remark raised the possibility of internal strife, which is the last thing the league needs during CBA talks. To be honest, it was a grave mistake to call out Caitlin Clark, and the consequences were brutal. Rather than highlighting the players' joint desire for improved final verdict, is Plum really finished? The discussion became into a personal drama. Fans accused Plum of envy on social media, while others questioned why she would target the one player who is mostly credited with improving the league. Kelsey Plum has some reservations that Caitlin Clark hasn't helped them make money, as one commenter put it quite frankly. The criticism was swift and unrelenting.
So you've obviously been an MVP of the team before. A big has won MVP since 2013.
Well, don't jinx it. They get all the love. You don't care about them.
Ultimately, Kelsey Plum's employment at Caitlin Clark was a self-inflicted error. What was supposed to bring attention back instead revealed discord at the most inconvenient moment. While Colin Cowherd gave the league a harsh reality check that they couldn't ignore, Clark and Sabrina Ionescu took the high road, remaining calm and focused. This was more than a single remark. It served as a caution. Unity is more important than ego if the WNBA is to build on its momentum.